and that you guys can reference after if you need to. All right, so 3 things we're going to talk about today. Once again, we're going to talk about cutoffs and relays. We're going to talk about tags, and we're going to talk about the third thing, which is the offensive side of bunting. All right, so again, bear with me with the wind out here. So first thing I want to talk about is tags. All right, so hopefully you guys can see me. I have a base set up here. We'll talk about it. For the general rule of thumb on the tag should be we want to use a V tag. And what is a V tag? It's a down to up type tag. A lot of times, sometimes we may miss the tag on the first time through. You don't want to go chase the guy, all right, unless he's completely through the base. We want to make sure we hold the tag on the base runner as best as possible. Okay, so when I get to a lot of times guys want to take the throw maybe from the back of the bag. Okay, we don't want to take the throw from the back of the bag. We want to cut the throw down as distance as possible. One of the main misconceptions, so I'm going to start as if you guys are the catcher and I'm the shortstop or the second baseman, the middle infielder. And this should be the rule of thumb, whether you're at any part of the infield, first, second, you're covering second, or you're covering third, or even if you're covering the plate. The ball is always going to travel faster than your hand can move it. Okay, so letting the ball travel to you once you're set up, I think, is paramount. We always want human nature is always going to be the reaction to go out and get the ball. We're going to try and do our best to make sure that ball travels as long as it possibly can. Okay, so what I mean by that is if I'm trying to come up and go get the throw to come back to make the tag, it's never going to work. All right, unless maybe the throw's offline, we're going to have to come off. But we're going to talk about being in the framework. So being in this type of a circle right here. I don't need your help yet, buddy, but good job. Okay, all right, keep watching. All right, so I'm going to let the ball travel as far as I possibly can. So if the throw's coming down to me, I want to try and get to the base. I want to control my breakdown. We're going to know who's got coverage and who doesn't in this type of scenario. We're going to take that for granted right now. We're just going to talk about the tag on the base. So once I get to the base, I'm going to break down. I'm going to control my breakdown, make sure I get in an athletic position. I'm waiting for the throw. I want to let the ball travel as far as it possibly can. Don't come get it. All right, let the ball travel. So whether I'm at first, second, or third, that should be your rule of thumb. Allow the ball to travel as far as it possibly can. It's going to travel faster than my hand can move it. So just another teaching point there. So once I get here, I want to make sure I'm in a good position to catch the throw. If the throw is high, yes, I need to catch it, then come back down to make the tag. And when I come back down to make the tag, I don't want to bend from my waist. I want to bend with my knees. Very similar to the bunting situation we're going to talk about later on. So when I get to this athletic position, I want to come down using my knees, not bending at my waist. I want to remain in an athletic position. Because if the guy can slide into it, I want to have a little bit of give to me in that sense of time. All right? So if I'm coming from the second base side, yes, I need to turn my body around to make sure I'm in position. So I need to take my right foot forward in that spot. But again, remaining athletic. Okay? If I'm coming from the shortstop side, obviously the play is in front of me. I'm here. I'm able to be there. Okay? Now flipping it around as if center field is behind me, left field is over there. I want to make sure that if I'm on the shortstop side of the bag and the throw's coming from left field, I never want to turn my back to the field. So I want to make sure I'm in this position because I can catch, drop my knee, and tag at the same time. Again, letting the ball travel. Hopefully with what Ozzy's doing on the outfield side stays consistent. We want to have a long hop or no hop throw to all of our bases. Why? Because I can handle the no hop real easy. Throw to my chest. It's up here. I can get to it. Okay? If it's a long hop, same thing. It's going to be a nice long hop that's going to come up to me. The short hop is where I get into trouble. Right? The short hop coming from the catcher, the short hop coming from the outfielder, all difficult things to do while I'm trying to attempt a tag. Okay? So, again, if I'm coming at it from the second base side of the bag, I'm here, I break down, control it. I make sure the ball travels as far as it can. I get my V tag down, which is going to be down to up. Okay? Down to up. All right? V tag. Coming from the shortstop side, same concept. Get in. Control my breakdown. Let the ball travel as far as it possibly can, down to up on the V tag, bend my knees, tag with my knees, okay? Throw coming from the shortstop side, and whether it's center field, left field, or right field, I never turn my back to the field. I'm never waiting for a throw like this if I'm the shortstop, okay? The only time I'm ever open like this is if the throw is left center over, okay, sorry, left field over, where the throw is maybe towards the line, or here's my line, okay? I'm never going to be in this position if that's the case, because now my back is to him again, okay? So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. If I'm coming from center field to right field to the line, I'm in the same position. I can get the ball down to off, right? Runners coming in here, okay? Hopefully in this situation, the backup is occurring behind me and out of sight off the camera. And once again, when we go to make that tag, we're looking to try and make sure we can either be in front of the base. I'm okay with you being in front of the base. I think on the throws coming in from the infield, you can straddle if you want, okay? You shouldn't be on the opposite side, okay? So if the throw's coming from right center, which is over here, and I'm the shortstop, second baseman went out for the cut, okay? I don't want to be on the inside part of the diamond, okay, in that sense. I want to be on the outside part of the diamond, okay? What I mean by that is the outfield side, not the infield side of the diamond, okay? So again, getting in position, allowing the ball to travel, super important, okay? Beating the ball there is, yes, ideal, but sometimes we're going to arrive at the same time as the throw, and we're trying to tag on the run. When that happens, it's kind of a recipe for disaster, and we need to make sure we remain athletic. So that's the throw, maybe from the catcher. We're a little late, tardy getting to the base on that side, and the throw's coming at the same time, and I'm trying to tag as I'm going away. We don't want to just swipe tag. We want to V tag, which is down to up. We want to make sure we hit that point. Try to keep the tag on our runner as long as possible. So if I'm coming from third base in this sense, right? So third base would be to my direction this way. So when I get there, I want to try and do my best to get to the front part of the base, okay? And when I go to tag, again, I'm going to use my legs as best as I possibly can. If the throw takes me outside the line, again, I want to make sure I use my feet to get to the throw, okay, and then swing myself back over to make the tag to come down. First base side, right? So if I'm in the first base line, a lot of times at first base, we're either back picking, okay, so maybe it's a throw where the runner at first kind of went too far, okay, and we're able to line up a cut in the middle of the diamond, and we're kind of back picking at one, maybe the second baseman shooting over, maybe the first baseman sliding back into position there, where we have a chance to get an out. Again, the same thing should apply, okay, but you need to control your tag, okay, and controlling your body. If you're all out of whack, that's not going to be the case. And the ability to be surprised and deke is extremely important. If I'm standing there waiting for my throw, coming from the right fielder in this sense, and I'm kind of just hanging out, anticipating, and now at the last second, boom, I can get him. Maybe he doesn't slide. I got him, okay? So I get a little gamesmanship on that side. Not trying to hurt anybody, but, if the runner's not going to trust his third base coach yelling to slide, he's going to stand up. Maybe that's an opportunity we can get a nice, easy tag right on the chest and not have to worry about it. And it's a good deke. It's a little gamesmanship. So a couple of things on that side to think about. Now, any questions on the tags? All right, cool. So we'll transition it to cutoffs and relays, okay? I'll put out a diagram for you guys to take notice of where you are on the field, okay? So to know who has priority on certain things, okay? So if we're going basic, routine basic to left field, all right, shortstop's going to go out. We should be at the college level, we're going to throw through. All right, we want to hit the guy on the base on the chest. So the second baseman will be the guy covering, okay? And we just reset and go about it, all right? That should be normal framework. Same thing, routine basic to center field. Center field comes up, makes the play. You should be able to throw right through to the second baseman. We don't need to go and do crazy cuts from that distance, okay? The only time that may happen is if we're just trying to get the ball back in, you give it to your shortstop, he runs it back in or just flips it to the second baseman, okay? Maybe if there's nobody on in that spot, okay? Right field, obviously, second baseman is going to be the guy that's going to go out on a time we need a cut for right field. Shortstop's going to cover the base, all right? Now, if we start to move into the more difficult types of scenarios where maybe we're in the left center gap, okay, shortstop obviously going out, all right? Second baseman, if there's a runner on base, needs to piggyback in that spot. Same thing with the ball down the left field line if we can anticipate two. So when we talk about cutoffs and relays, I think it's important that you guys understand on who is where and where you are and what are the arms on the field. Okay, it's just as important as a third base coach and as a runner to know who are my arms in infield, outfield, right? What do the outfield arms have? Okay, all right, right fielder has a good arm. Okay, I can run on center and left. Well, it's just as important defensively to know who our arms in the outfield are. Okay, if we have a guy, and a lot of you haven't played with each other yet, so it's important to start to pay attention to some of these things so that when we do get into the flow of things, you can pick up those things very easily. So if I'm going out for a cut, all right, when the closer the outfielder gets to me, all right, I'm going to drop, Okay, why? Because I'm going to create the distance. This is college baseball. I don't want to take it for granted, but we should be able to make a 120 to 180 foot throw without an issue. Okay, so we're going to even extend that, say 90 to 180. Okay, we should be able to hit the guy on his left side, throwing through the target, through his head in that sense. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, so think about, just imagine, put it into some context here. Okay, if the base hits a right field, runner on second, play's going home. Okay, we're always going to be one base ahead. All right, so with the runner on second base in that spot, first baseman is going to come over. He's going to be the cut, right? So he's in the middle of the diamond. He's got his hands up. Okay, with the right fielder's coming towards him. So in that sense, the first baseman can now back up. Why? To create the distance. Okay, now the opposite applies here too. If the right fielder is deep, the first baseman is then going to go out for the cut, okay, in that sense, all right? So that we're trying to cut that distance off and always remaining in that 100-foot distance, so the 90 to 180 feet. Again, the ball's going to travel a lot quicker than if we have to stop, catch it, transfer, and throw, all right? I do believe we do get outs on cuts, okay? I do believe that. I'm not one of those coaches that believes you don't get outs on cuts. I do think there's value to it. But again, the long hop, no hop to your cutoff man to the base from the outfield is super important. As infielders, as a unit, you need to make sure that your outfielders are on par with that. And we have a bunch of different drills that we'll do when we're in person, okay? But for the most part, so just think about that. If I'm coming up, if I'm the outfielder and you're my cutoff man right there, and I'm coming up to make the throw on the do or die, you shouldn't be at the distance that you're at right now. If I could move the camera back, the camera would move back, okay? And the same thing applies as maybe I bobble it, I got to go back this way. You're going to come get me in that sense, okay? You're going to travel with me. So if I drop, you drop. If I go back, you go up, okay? In that sense. So that's right. So that's my cutoff, and realize how we're going to approach on where we're at. Now, what are we going to say? Obviously, we always want to turn to the left side. Okay, glove side turn. All right. Ideally, no matter where you are on the field as infielders, we should be the left side. So that means we need to make sure we're athletic, hands up, hit me. Right. If we're running a double cut, all right, we have to make sure we relay that information out. Okay. The commands I like to use. So if I'm on a base and you are my cutoff man right now, and your back is now facing me in this sense. Okay, if obviously you're at home, you can't do it, but I'm going to say left, or right. Okay, if I'm happy where you are, I'm just going to say stick. Okay, stick. Okay, it doesn't sound like anything else we're going to talk about on the field, so it's not going to like no, or go. Those sounds too much together. So we're going to eliminate one of those words. But left, right. Go out, like any of that stuff, we're not going to yell, go out. We should assume that we're going to know, and we're going to put the preparation in the time so that we understand that, okay? So if I'm on the base, if I'm the third baseman, the play's coming to me, and you're my cutoff man, I'm going to be yelling, left, right, okay? Stick, okay? Or if it's calm, left one, you're good, stick, cut three. And if I'm yelling cut, that means I want the ball to be cut. All right, so we're going to read the flight of the ball. So if you're as an infielder, you're making the decision. As middle infielders, we're going to handle 90% of the cuts. Yes, first and third are going to have their cut scenarios. But as middle infielders, you're going to handle 90% of our cutoffs. And your job, we want the ball in your hands to make the decisions. You are the decision makers on the field. Okay. If you get wavery in that times or not sure of yourself, that's going to hurt us. Okay. If you're waiting for the third baseman to say something, that's going to be a problem, right? But unless it's coming to the plate where the catcher can kind of see the whole vantage point, he's the only one that's probably going to yell, cut four. Okay? So, but again, we want to be vocal. We want to be loud. We want to have good established communication with a streamlined vocabulary, okay, in that sense. So if I'm yelling cut to the base, okay, if my third baseman's yelling cut three, my shortstop's going to cut three. Okay, he's cutting the baseball, turning left side. Now, if that throw takes him to his right, okay, he needs to work really hard to keep the baseball on the left side of his body, on his glove side. Okay, work really hard. If it's a lefty throwing first baseman, it's the opposite. Okay, so he's got to work really, really hard to keep the ball on the left side, glove side part of his body. So if that throw is outside and it's over here, I really need to move my feet to get here to make the throw to my cutoff man. I want to make sure that when I do catch the ball, I'm just catching it and transferring it. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're catching the ball in rhythm. So whenever I can get my momentum going, so once I start to see the baseball start to travel, I can read the course of the ball. If it's coming towards me, now it's a nice, perfect throw, chest height, glove side. Now I get myself in position. I can take my transfer at the same time and keep myself moving towards my target. All right. Some of those throws are going to be low. Maybe it's a nice long hop where it's going to bounce up. I can get here, slow motion, make my throw and my transition. Okay. Now, if it's a ball where I now have to go out and get it, that's a problem. Okay, that's going to be a problem for us. We got to make sure that we're going to get the ball. So now that's where we're going to get into a little bit of trouble. Where if the throw is short, now I need to run up, but now I need to change my momentum to get back into it. Okay, so a little bit about the communication there. How I want to see the transfer. Again, working hard to keep the ball on the left side part of our body. Okay, streamline communication. Keep it simple. Okay, cut three. Go. All right, we'll be straight through. I'm not one of those people that wants to hear silence out there, because how many times have you been on a field where someone's like, oh, I thought I heard cut four. Okay? And understanding each person's voice is super important. I know it's tough because we haven't been with each other. So that's going to be important for us in the fall to understand. And a lot of these scenarios that we're doing right here are lecture, so you really don't get a chance to hear the other person, okay? But those are important so you understand each other's voice, because when we're playing at MCU Park, it's a big yard, fellas, and it's really spaced out. If you're in the right center gap, we're running a double cut to 3 or something like that. You really got to be vocal in that sense. And trying to be shy in that sense is not going to work for us. So one more time to recap. Keep the ball on the left side portion of your body if you're a right-handed thrower. If you're a lefty, the opposite. Work hard to keep your hands in the framework of your body, to keep your feet moving, to gain ground towards your target once you transfer after the catch, okay? We should be just changing direction. That's all we're doing. And we're going to let our lower half work for us in this spot, okay? Just like we talked about with throwing a couple of weeks back, we want to make sure that our lower half is doing the work for us to get us into power position in that spot. Just like when we feel the ground ball, we want to continue our feet, keep our feet moving. We want to do the same thing in that concept. All right, so keeping it simple with the vocabulary. Hit me. Cut three. Boom. I got it. Okay? Want to work on the left side portion of my body. Obviously, it's not always going to be pretty. If it's a short hop to our right, man, we got to do everything we can just to keep the ball in front of us. Okay? Because now if that ball gets by, it can trickle all the way into the infield, and that could be a problem, especially if there's runners on base. You've all been a part of that, okay? And then what I talked about a few weeks ago in the team meeting was ball-based backup, okay? So, again, that comes into play for us. And understand that each person has a role to play on the field. And as a middle infielder in this sense, or as an infielder in general, you're going to be moving. The middle infielders are the guys we want on the field to make those decisions, okay? And if you shy up in that sense, it could cost us some runs. But you need to take charge. You need to take onus. If someone's not doing what they're supposed to do, you need to let them know. You need to tell them, hey, listen, Joe, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. I yelled this. You didn't do it. Next time, I expect you to do that. And it doesn't have to come from a senior to understand that. It could come from a freshman too, okay? So one more thing on the cutoffs and relays, okay? A lot of times you've been in infield outfield practice, right? We're doing it in IO, and you hear we're going to change it up, right? The coach is hitting the fly balls, and he's like, yo, cut four, right? And then all of a sudden you hear, cut two, just to catch everyone sleeping, right? And now all of a sudden it's a mess, all right? Well, it doesn't have to be a mess. Those are predetermined outcomes. If you know the situation that's on the field, you know the plays that could possibly be made. There's a runner on second. There's 2 outs. We're going to try and come 4 at all costs, okay? Especially if the ball's in front of the outfielder, right? He's coming into it. We got a good chance. Even though the hitter's running on contact, we got a good arm. We're going to try and shoot 4 there. But, hey, if it's a little tardy, that's when our first baseman or our third baseman, who are our cut guys in that spot coming 4, can make that decision and hearing what the catcher is saying. Well, I don't have a play here, okay? But I may have a play at second. Let's try and get this guy. All right, cut two. So, again, staying on your toes, being alert, understanding your surroundings, and the different scenarios that are going to happen, okay? Super important, all right? Any questions on cutoffs and relays? Now, I know the double cuts sometimes get a little hairy. You know, you kind of, we don't necessarily get the trajectory sometimes. Different situations on the field are going to dictate certain outcomes, right? The ball down the lines are sometimes tricky when we're coming for. But rule of thumb, we should always think about being one base ahead. One base ahead, okay? So if there's a runner on first, there's a base hit to center field, guess what? We're coming up, we're lining up for three. It doesn't have to be a hard three, okay? But we need to make sure that that guy can't sneak around on us and take that extra base. So our infielders are going out. They're going to line themselves up. It's good muscle memory. It's good preparation. Our vocabulary is there. Our third baseman right off the bat telling 3-3-3-3-3. Right, our shortstop's going to go out. He's going to line up. He's going to make that. He's going to make the decision on the cut. And it could be, hey, catch it and then hold, cut and hold, cut and hold. I love the cut and hold call. I believe in that. Okay, because in that sense, it kind of just you can take it, dial it down a notch. Okay, maybe pump fake, look for something inside the diamond in that sense. Okay, that happens a lot at third base, right? Where maybe the guy is at second base, shallow routine base hit to left field. Right? The left fielder comes up to make the play. He's coming up on the ball in that sense, right? And, our shortstop shoots behind. Third baseman drops in. He's going right for the cut, right? And now you hear, and that third base coach is like, oh, hold up, right? You put the stop sign on, and now he stops, and the third baseman's in the middle for the cut, right? And he's there. Now our catcher can yell, we don't need to throw that ball all the way through. Just say cut and hold, cut and hold. Why? Because now you may be able to kind of just cut and hold, pump fake, backdoor, boom, you got the guy at shortstop because the shortstop cut behind, and now you got to play at third base, okay? Or maybe in that sense where maybe the runner who hit the ball, the batted runner, he's rounding first base hard, right? He's going for second because maybe the situation was 2 outs. So he's thinking, oh, well, if I get thrown out, maybe that's a predetermined play by the bench. Maybe that's something they worked on where, it automatically turns into a first and third, right? So now in that sense, that cut and hold right there puts us in a much better situation, right? Because maybe that pre-designed play now, okay, cut four, up, cut and hold. I have the ball now, boom. Now I can turn around and spin, change directions, line up for second base, and put the ball in the middle infielder's hand again because my second baseman is where he needs to be, and he's holding that bag there. So just a little bit of food for thought there, where just because you don't have a play off the initial play, it's not pre-scripted. The defense has a mind of its own, and so does the offense, right? So, and you're just going to, and unfortunately on defense, yeah, you control the ball to a certain extent, right? The pitcher controls the tempo of the game. He controls what's happening. But once the ball's put in play, now the offense dictates a lot of what's going on, right? As long as we make those routine plays. Any questions on any of that? Scenarios, situations, where you would need to be on the field if that were to be the case. I know it's hard because we're not on the field right now. And I can put out some diagrams for you with some X's and O's where you can kind of see and line up in that sense. Any questions on that? Okay, so just to recap, on the tags, it applies to the cutoffs and relays, throwdowns, whenever we're making a tag, let the ball travel as best as we can. All right, want to make sure the ball travels the distance. We're not going to get it and then running back to the base. We're not running up here like Little League and then trying to come back and make the throw, make the tag, okay, on a throw down, a throw from the outfield or anything like that. But we do want to make sure we keep the baseball in front of us at all times. Sometimes we got to give up on the play to save the extra base, okay? So that means if the throw is really high, go up and get it. We're not making a tag here, okay? There's no play there. It's a no play. We give the base, all right? Don't compound it by letting the ball go to the outfield because you wanted to hold the base like a first baseman and let the throw come down to you, okay? So on the cutoffs and relays, streamline vocabulary, hit me. All right, cut 3, cut 2, cut whatever it may be, okay? Go means straight through, okay? Just yell go. Cut and hold, like I said, is an important call as well, okay? So any other questions before the defense, before I switch over to the offensive side, the bunting side of it?